I run a company called Breaking B2B, and essentially marketing leaders at B2B tech SaaS companies usually come to us basically when they get frustrated. They're tired of seeing competitors above them in Google's organic search results, or maybe now LLMs, and we tend to fix that with a bit of an unusual approach to SEO and content marketing at Breaking B2B. And I also host a podcast called Breaking B2B, and we interview tech marketing leaders. They literally share what's working right now for them to drive growth. And that's what I do most of the time, and if I'm not doing that, I'm messing about on LinkedIn.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to today's show. We are joined by Sam Dunning, founder of Breaking B2B, who helps B2B SaaS teams turn websites into sales reps using bottom-of-funnel SEO and conversion-led design. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Looking forward to the chat.
Sam, it's great to have you on. To start, why don't you just give us a quick intro, who you are and what you do?
Yeah, sure thing. So Sam Dunning, I run a company called Breaking B2B, and essentially marketing leaders at B2B tech SaaS companies usually come to us basically when they get frustrated, like they've hit a bit of a brick wall. They're tired of seeing competitors above them in Google's organic search results, or maybe now LLMs, each time dream clients are hunting for their solution, comparing vendors or similar. So meaning they're missing out on a steady flow of demos, signups, or inbounds. And we tend to fix that with a bit of an unusual approach to SEO and content marketing at Breaking B2B. And I also host a podcast called Breaking B2B, funnily enough, and we interview tech marketing leaders. They literally share what's working right now for them to drive growth, or I do solo episodes to share essentially how I'm growing my agency at Breaking B2B, the unusual experiments I run, as well as weird SEO plays that we're running for our clients. And that's what I do most of the time, and if I'm not doing that, I'm messing about on LinkedIn.
Well, you've got a nice LinkedIn following. That's how I found you. Okay, so you do a lot of SaaS. We did speak briefly before we recorded. I think you made the point that most SaaS companies are going to be getting a significant amount of their leads and conversions from Google Organic. But what are you seeing in the current landscape then? Are the SaaS companies still mainly focused on Google Organic? Are we seeing declines anywhere? What's the state of play?
Current landscape is chaos. I don't think anyone... At least on my LinkedIn feed, someone's saying SEO's changed forever, and there's only one way to do it, and that's LLMO, and then other people are saying the only way to do it is classic SEO. So I suppose I can only speak from my lens, and that's, I think there's a lot of worry or anxiety around how, because I deal with a lot of B2B tech, a lot of B2B SaaS marketing leaders, some service-based companies as well, because they have similar model. Most of them have sales teams they want to feed a steady flow of demo requests or booked calls to. Most of them are like, well, how are LLMs like ChatGPT namely going to impact our inbounds? Like, what's this going to do? And I'm quite a simple guy, so a lot of the stuff I say is quite straightforward and to the point. And I think, well, let's put it back to basics. Who's your dream client? Where do they go to get trusted information right now? If they need your solution, if they need your offer, if they're frustrated with their incumbent vendor, or they're chopping up, they're slicing up, they're looking for 3-4 vendors to bring to their board, where do they go when they need that information? Are they going to their peers? Are they going to Google? Are they actually using LLMs? Are they going to trade shows? What are they doing? Let's peel it back to customer research before we worry. Because unless you're selling to quite, let's say, technical end users, which, to be fair, a lot of our B2B SaaS clients do. So if you're saying to like developers or quite technical folks, then they probably are using LLMs pretty much all the time. They probably scrapped Google altogether. Then you probably do want to go all in on that kind of strategy. Whereas if you've got more of a traditional user base that are still using Google to search, then it makes more sense to kind of focus a lot of your resource there, but still build the foundation for making sure you're starting to gain visibility on LLMs. So that's it at a high level, but there's a lot to dive into, I'm sure.
So let's start with, is it changing? Because AI overviews on Google are rolling out more and more. For me, I'm using ChatGPT for most searches now. And then when I do go to Google, if there's an AI overview, I prefer ChatGPT's anyway. So that's sort of pushing me off of their platform. I guess in the SaaS space, are you seeing a shift at all that's occurring? Or is it still about like the same traffic numbers?
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because wasn't it the Liz that's one of the main VPs at Google shared that Google AI overviews aren't actually affecting click-throughs when we all know they are.
Yeah.
So it's just funny some of the stuff that Google puts out. But yeah, like you say, across the board, at least for companies that have got, let's say, more of a mature SEO program, where they've invested in SEO for some time historically, then yeah, they're seeing things like impressions go up, click-throughs go down, and possibly non-branded traffic go down as well. Because like you say, AI overviews in Google's case are eating up a lot of the especially informational, more top funnel queries. How to do something, what is something, that kind of stuff, more educational searches. Similar for some mid-funnel and bottom funnel, they're doing the same. So that is happening. But it's not all bad. I like to think that we're more moving into, we're not there yet, but I think when Google in a couple of years' time roll out AI mode fully, because at the moment, as you know, it's an option to click that tab, I think we're moving into more the era of mindshare for SEO, especially in my game, like B2B tech, B2B SaaS SEO. It's more a case of visibility, in a case of someone needs a solution, they're hunting for this solution, someone has a annoying, frustrating problem they really need to solve because it's cost them headcount, it's cost them hours, it's cost them revenue leak. Someone's annoyed with their incumbent vendor. If they consistently see your brand showing up top, then it will get to the point where you're not necessarily getting the click-through, which we're seeing with ChatGPT, we're seeing that with Google AI overviews, but you're getting the, let's say, mind share, you're getting the share of voice, you're getting the recollection with that prospect. So then when their team say, look, who should we evaluate for this solution? Your brand is the name that gets mentioned. And thus, branded search might be going up to your website. Direct searches to your homepage or to your .com domain, whatever it is, may be going up. But your non-branded, kind of your traditional organic search metrics that you might track, might be looking a bit shaky.
Okay, so we're definitely living in the era of the brand. So what strategies are you implementing? What are you seeing that's working alongside traditional SEO strategy in order to increase the strength of the B2B SaaS brands that you work with? And are you seeing a noticeable increase in like branded search once you implement these strategies?
Yeah, for some, although with that said, a lot of the companies that come to us haven't actually done that much in SEO historically. So maybe this is ripe in B2B SaaS and tech. They often hire outbound sales teams. They invest a lot in paid media. Maybe they grow through their founders network or the VC's network, or they grow through kind of trade shows and that kind of stuff. So there is a few that have done historically quite some good SEO work, but quite a lot of the companies maybe haven't done it. And tech companies are very guilty of having very thin websites, doing everything bar SEO, and then wondering why they're not getting organic inbounds. So in terms of strategy, not all that different to classic SEO with a few nuances. So the crux of it really is, if we're talking about Google and some of this stuff flies through to LLMs, is working out, one, what does a dream client look like? Like, we're talking about SEO to drive pipeline here, not to drive kind of traffic at all costs. So one, what does an ideal prospect profile look like? And a lot of this is looking at customer research and looking at your CRM for industries you've sold well into. What are the industries kind of we've historically sold well into, that have the expensive problem that we solve, that are motivated to solve the problem we fix, and actually have cash to easily invest in the offer? From a tech background, I often talk about understanding the landscape as well. So what are the main competitors that often come up in sales conversations to an annoying level? So you're always traded off against these 3 or 4 vendors that always come up. You know they're comparing you against them. And then the fourth thing is, what are the main problems that our dream clients face? What are their jobs to be done? What are their struggling moments? What do they try and cobble together in-house before they get so frustrated that they need to evaluate a new, better way of getting that job done? Or what is maybe just another problem they face. That's, I suppose, to give you a tangible example, like one of our clients is in the proposal software space, Proposify, and theirs might be something like a problem they might face, like how to build out quotes quickly within Google Docs or something like that. What is a pain point that always comes up? Or why is, maybe they're using PandaDoc, how to build XYZ faster in PandaDoc, which might be a problem that their software fixes in a better way. So that's the main thing. And a lot of that comes back to customer research and actually knowing who your best clients are, who you've sold well into in the industries you serve best. And the reason you do that is because your SEO strategy should be completely focused around this, because that's how you're going to acquire more clients that look like your dream clients. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's fine, Sam, because then we can build out keywords, we can use tools like Hrefs and build out long tail searches and start building content that's going to rank and show up. But how do we show up on LLMs? Well, I'd like to say I've cracked it, but I don't think anyone has yet. I think we're all still learning most days. I think some of the basics are, if you've got that data, then I suppose what you'd historically do with at least B2B and SaaS SEO is, if you were trying to rank for what we call a money keyword, so like a dream client searches this when they need the offer. If I flip it back to the proposal software space, historically a VP of marketing might have gone to Google and searched best proposal software, and then they might see some article listicles, evaluate the top 10 proposal softwares of 2025, and you've got the classic 10 list, 15 lists, etc. But now they might go to an LLM like ChatGPT and say, I'm a VP of marketing at this company, I have 50 sales reps on my team, I need to evaluate 3 proposal softwares that have XYZ feature and fall within this budget. It's way more complex what we're trying to rank for. And I suppose what the add-on to what you do before is understand what type of page you need to build, whether that's an article, a listicle, a landing page or something else, and then leverage as much customer insight as you can to make sure when someone lands on this page, ideally when a dream client lands on this page, that's giving them all the information that they'll need. Kind of talks about the problem, how your software is suited to be the solution, has plenty of proof signals, social proof, customer testimonials, quotes, etc. But also goes a layer deeper. So no one knows yet, although there's loads of SaaS tools that have had a nice healthy round of funding that claim to know all these different prompts that people are searching. It's very, very difficult because every search can be unique. So I'd say your best bet is to know all the ways that your prospects can describe your offer, all the questions they might have around the solution, and then weave that into dedicated pages on your website that are basically acting as sales reps that know the problem, know the impact of not fixing the problem, know the common questions that come up, and then are kind of armed with that useful information. Yeah, you've got to follow the SEO basics, so keyword within the URL, within the H1, well-structured pages, chunk up the content, make it nice and easy to consume, maybe use structured data so LLMs can pick it up a bit easier. But I'm still a big proponent that the biggest, especially because I deal a lot with high-ticket software companies, so they're not selling like $5 a month software, they're selling stuff that requires a lot of thought, various execs in the team, and so these pages of content that you're putting out, they've got to resonate with those dream clients. And that's why I think a lot of this LLM stuff is good, because it forces us as founders or marketers or whoever's working on the content to actually take a step back and understand the dream clients that we actually want to attract, because I think historically that's where a lot of SEO's fallen flat. That SEOs have just built content, they've just built it to optimize, just built it to rank, and then kind of they've missed the piece that, oh, we're actually trying to attract this type of prospect that has this problem or has this job to be done or is trying to do this or is frustrated with a current vendor, and then let's build it to serve that purpose, and at the same time position it as a sales page that actually features our product as the painkiller. So appreciate I've rambled on a bit there, but that's how I think about it at a high level.
Yeah, you touched on the part I wanted to ask about next. So as we're moving more towards researching with LLMs, the jobs to be done, those type of things, is there a shift in where you want that content? So before it was Google, you wanted your site to show up. Now we're seeing the LLMs, they're if you're doing that research, they're referencing different places. So it might be pulling from YouTube, Reddit, the listicles, which is a strategy you would have already, try and get in those listicles. But does that change your approach to it? Like, I'm going to create this kind of content to answer this question or this job to be done, and I'm going to post it on these platforms because that's where the LLMs are referencing currently.
It's a good question, and I wish I had a simple answer. A lot of the time it comes down to the resource within your team, doesn't it? A lot of the time marketing is prioritization. Where do our dream clients hang out? Where do they actually get their trusted information from? And where is going to be the best bang for buck against our marketing dollars or our marketing in-house resource? Yeah, Reddit's cited like crazy on LLMs, but it's not like you can just pick up and play Reddit. I wish you could. I'm a noob on Reddit. I don't know what the heck to do, really. I only know the basics. So if I started going on SaaS SEO threads and just saying like, check out Breaking B2B, they're really good at SEO, like insta ban. So it's not quite that easy. I think there's a few ways I look at it. I'm quite a big fan of controlling the narrative. So I think understand LLMs are big on brand mentions, right? So a lot of folks will ask me like, how do we build out LLM strategy? And I say it's easy. You just need to go back 15 years and build a brand. So that's why all the big players in most niches and most industries and most spaces get cited so much in LLMs, because they've got so much PR on various sources across the web mentioning their brand and their category, and it's like, well, that's an unfair advantage. But there are ways you could game the system. I mean, one is make sure your website's the best possible asset because you own it. So understand every possible search query that a dream client might search when they need your offer, when they're comparing vendors, when they have a crisp specific problem you solve, etc. And make sure you've got dedicated pages and articles and listicles on your own website that you completely own, that are best in class, so they have a good chance of showing up. The second is, like you say, especially in my game, B2B SaaS, listicles get cited like crazy. So work out the ones that are often getting cited and then look to get a placement within those, which I think a lot of people think that's way more difficult than it is. A lot of the times you can, I'm speaking from experience, like a lot of the times you can just do value exchanges with the folks that are building those top 10x listicles. You can just reach out to whoever owns them or whoever wrote them and offer them something in return, whether that's a placement on your own article or inviting them to a podcast or some kind of live discussion or something like that. There's usually some kind of value exchange. Yes, some are pay to play, but not all the time. And then there's a bunch of other things. Yeah, if you've got someone on your team that knows how to play Reddit, then great, because Reddit gets cited like crazy, like you say, in LLMs as well as Google. Podcasts have been really good for us as well. It's a bit like we're doing now. I often use this site called ListenNotes, and you can literally use that one.
Yeah,
it's good, isn't it?
It's really good, yeah.
You can literally just type in your industry or your niche or whatever industry your dream clients are in, look at the top podcasts in that industry, and then reach out to those hosts.
I do
whoever hosts them.
I do a date search, so I'll take some like keywords and then look what's been posted in the last like 24 hours. You can find it's a great prospecting tool. I'd give you the 3 pages for the day. So it's a great bit of advice.
Yeah. I think I still think it's one of the most powerful plays ever, because if you guest on a niche relevant podcast that has your dream clients listening to it, you get so many wins on one. You get, as long as you actually do a valuable episode that's tactical, that shares basically your full playbook as useful as possible, and then maybe you do a CTA at the end, because you get that appearance, you get potential new followers, you might get some inbound leads, you get the SEO hit because you can ask them to give you a backlink and your brand mention for your LLMs, your LLM boost, you get that PR. So it's like 4 or 5 hits in one.
Plus the transcript, which the LLMs are you can see are actively crawling and understanding as well. Yeah.
So I suppose my point is kind of controlling the narrative as much as possible. Like, make your website as detailed as possible, having every page for every kind of main solution, main industry you serve, articles around problems you solve, around listicles like top X software. Documentation seems to be quite good for B2B SaaS, making sure you've got kind of in-depth documentation. If you can show any original research, like LLMs seem to be really keen on kind of fresh proprietary data that you can weave in as well to get visibility. And then, like you said, going off your own site, if you can start going into Reddit relevant threads, if you can start getting appearances in other listicles, if you can start getting press and niche relevant sites, and get your brand mentioned there, all of that stuff's going to be good. So it's all about trying to build out that ecosystem, right? Which kind of is just good B2B marketing, just knowing where those dream clients get trusted information and being on there as a useful, entertaining or helpful resource for your brand. And if you can do that consistently enough, that's going to help your SEO and your LLM visibility.
I think there was this period where it was like SEO is dead. There's still that narrative, and everyone was like, "What do we do? It's all LLMs. It's going to be all LLMs in the future." And then as we started to see why LLMs were recommending certain companies, it was all the same marketing principles everyone should have been focusing on before. Like the content strategy you talked about, that's an SEO play. Now it's an LLM referencing play. The PR, it's brand building. These are all like timeless marketing principles. So I think that's, for a lot of people, that's probably like very reassuring. Like let's keep investing in these things. Let's keep doing these same marketing practices. Maybe we need to add something now. We need a Reddit marketer. We need to start a podcast. But it's not like a complete overhaul. It maybe is a shift in the way you're creating your content, the kind of things you're focusing on. But it's not a complete start over. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it was funny when ChatGPT was kind of in its infancy, and there was a lot of folks in the SEO space saying that you need to get all in on Bing optimization. I'm not even sure what Bing optimization is. And everyone was like, well, they pull like all their sources from Bing, but now it turns out, I saw a study from Backlinko recently that they're starting to cite from Google and pull information from Google. So it's like, well, it literally has the information that's been shared by a lot of SEOs has gone 360, gone full circle, like you say. So it's a lot of it, I'd say, is classic SEO and beyond, just building a good brand, building that B2B marketing ecosystem, so you're looked as a trusted resource. You're looking to control the narrative that your prospects are consuming when they go to get trusted content, and showing up there and looking to plug your brand where relevant, basically.
I think social media as well is pretty sort of, the loudest voices are the ones that are heard. And when like the affiliate space died, like, yeah, okay, you're not gonna be able to rank for, you haven't been able to rank for basic keywords that the featured snippets were showing anyway, and now you can just put something in AI and get an AI overview or an AI answer that's, you're never gonna drive that like doorway page conversion to an affiliate link. Whereas real businesses, where any platform for search is actually making recommendations for what software to buy, what law firm to use, it's like Nick said, it's just old school marketing, isn't it? Because you are selling a service or a product that offers value, but we just need to be found and do the best that we can. Just one quick point. We got reached out to 2 days ago we've got a listicle post that is the 7 best PR firms, digital PR firms, and we got reached out to by a direct PR competitor saying, would you add us to the list? So I just archived that email. So just be careful when you are reaching out to the listicles, mate. If they're a direct competitor, you've probably got very low chance of getting added.
Yeah, it can be done. It's a lot tougher.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It depends if they know the game as well. Like, it depends who they are and they know the game. Like, I suppose what I'm doing is quite meta. Like, a lot of the time it's marketers talking to marketers, and they know the game, and it's like, yeah, we could do that, but you're going to have to give us a pretty sweet spot, like number 2 or something in your listicle, like a real solid value exchange. If they know the game, it works. If they don't, it won't.
Yeah. In the SaaS space, I feel like link swaps, like that sort of strategy, is quite prevalent. Maybe more so than in other spaces.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think it's just because a lot of SaaS marketers, a good chunk of SaaS marketers know the SEO space. They know that a lot of these listicles carry a lot of weight, especially they did in Google and they do now with LLMs, and they kind of know that you're going to need to get some good visibility. One, you need to get some good visibility on these to get cited if they are like decent listicles on high authority websites in your niche. And then 2, they also know that if a prospect searching, be it on LLM or Google, goes on one of these listicles, they're probably not going past number 3. So they need to be like the top 3 to even get in the consideration set.
Interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how long.
No one's
this
scrolling
lasts.
to number 10, right, and thinking, I'm going to make a list of the top 10. I'm going to send all these 10 to my exec team in Slack,
Yeah.
and then book calls with everyone.
Yeah, it's true. But it'll be interesting to see how long this lasts as well, because some of these listicles are on like dirge websites that you've never heard of, so yet they're still being pulled from. So I don't know how. I mean, Google's answer was links to have trust in the 10 blue links that it was going to display on page 1. But I've made some searches for some pretty important things recently, and the source sites from the listicle, I've never heard of the website that it's recommended as service to me or something. So it'll be interesting to see if that lasts the way that it
I think
is.
that'll improve. There'll
Yeah.
have to be some sort of element of trust introduced, I think.
Yeah,
There's just
agreed.
no way. Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about, another common narrative in your space, vibe coding. There's a common narrative that says that as it becomes easier to vibe code all the apps you need, that will sort of like chip away at these bigger companies. I think enterprise is always going to be a little bit insulated, but do you think that is an issue now, and do you think that will be an issue going forward?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Thanks for coming.
It's absolutely not. I think I suppose this is, of course, my own point of view, and also I have limited experience actually messing around with vibe coding. But I think what a lot of these folks, like, because I only really use LinkedIn as my social media, so that my view on it is, I guess, quite biased to that. So, but all I see at the moment, as well as people saying SEO is dead, is I vibe coded this app that replaces DocuSign, comment send, and I'll give you first access. And it's like, well, okay, but what's the point now? Are you expecting to outsell DocuSign in a couple of years? Because good luck. And also I think the folks that are building these apps don't remember the amount of painstaking time that these SaaS companies have put in to build their brand in saturated, mature markets, and that they actually have to have a go-to-market. You can't just vibe code an app. Yeah, maybe you can use it until it breaks, or you can use it for like a small workflow. Fine, fair play to you, I respect it. You've built something cool, you're using it, maybe some of your friends and your internal team and your peers are using it, awesome. But vibe coding an app and expecting to like replace a market player doesn't just happen. It goes back to everything we've talked about. It goes back to a B2B marketing ecosystem. Like, you've got to know who the dream client. You've got to validate the idea first and foremost. Make sure it solves an expensive problem. Then make sure people are prepared to part their cash for your SaaS. Then you've got to go to market, and you've got to build brand equity. You've got to build trust. You've got to acquire clients. You've got to grow your monthly recurring revenue. Like, what's the point? Like, if you're building it just for yourself and your friends, fine. Otherwise, like, it's a waste of time, in my opinion.
Do you think that the last part you said about building it for yourself, because, and I think we are right now the exception rather than the norm, but we have a client reporting software that we use where it's always had limitations that have annoyed us, and now it's to the point where we can build something in-house pretty easily, which is something we're working on. Do you think that aspect of like companies are like, we pay $150 a month for this software, we could probably do it in-house. Do you think that could have an effect long term?
Definitely for in-house stuff. Like, if there's straightforward workflows that are time consuming, and that could probably be a use case for us as well, right? Like, a lot of our reporting, I was literally thinking about this yesterday because we got an inbound from a SaaS client that makes reporting. I was like, well, that's a good problem to fix. But yeah, I think those use cases are awesome because you're sorting stuff. It's not on a huge scale. It's for your client set, and you can kind of control it. But I think when you're trying to like replace huge SaaS companies, then you've got to actually do marketing. Can't just kind of expect to sell.
But do you think it could chip away at these like established smaller SaaS companies? So the DocuSign example you gave was all over social media with the Chinese guy that had vibe coded a much cheaper version that essentially did the same thing. So yeah, he's not going to be able to level up the marketing game in the same way that the DocuSign is ran. But if he's able to like distribute that within his network, or if more people are able to see like how easy it is to create a very similar software for their internal teams, same things like Calendly, or even just small subset of features from tools, do you think that if that grows, that could have an impact on those established SaaS companies' sales over time, as more and more people learn and try to vibe code their own solutions to these existing tools that they're paying for?
Possibly, but possibly on a small scale, but I only go by, like, all the information that I take can only be looked at from my point of view, which is that I regularly have a feedback loop with B2B tech marketers and B2B tech founders. So that's my positioning is skewed towards them, right? So fear is a big thing in buying software, especially as you move up market and you're buying for more seats and signups, reps, whatever. No one wants to be the exec that makes a huge mistake where data gets leaked, or worse, it causes implications. So I think the risk element, or the status quo, is, for example, we're using Calendly. We know they work, it just works. They're a big company, they're doing X revenue, they're trusted. Same with DocuSign, they're trusted in the market. Okay, this kid's just vibe coding an app, fair play to him. But the risk factor, it's like that old saying, like, nobody gets fired for moving away from IBM. That's what I think about it. Now, there might be a small chunk of the market, which I think it's a bit like Hrefs, right? They put out something a while back. Hrefs, the SEO tool, that they're trying to move a bit more up market, and I think that reflects in their pricing, especially for the AI tools, like the AI measurement. It's gone up quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
Can feel that on my monthly outgoings. So, but I think they've done it intentionally, because I'm pretty sure their CMO, Tim Sulu, who posts a lot of great stuff, especially on LinkedIn, like, smart guy, and they kind of said, like, if you're a small user base, we don't necessarily want to work with you. I mean, we'd love to have you as a client, but there probably are tools that are better suited to you. Whereas if you're a team that has, like, multiple sites or large scale sites, it makes more sense to work with us on our tool. And I think it's kind of thinking that folks, especially as you move up market, like to have that safety. They like to work with brands that are trusted. And if it's a vibe coded app that's only been around a while, yeah, you probably get some smaller businesses and solopreneurs on it, but I don't know about the upmarket.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, like, enterprise is different. It takes longer to move. The more people make the decision, there's the risk averse. I think on the smaller end, that's where you could see a change, because I think there are a lot of things that small companies like us, we're always looking at, like, wow, how much are we paying on that per year? So when we get to the point where, like, we're only using these 3 features from that tool, like, we're not using all this other stuff that we're paying for, then it starts to make sense. And I think maybe some of those smaller SaaS companies could see some difficulties or lose some clients because of that. But just a guess at this point, really.
It'd be interesting to see, especially if I'm proved wrong. I often am.
I think you're right about the enterprise. I think that's there's just too many layers there.
Enterprise is a different beast
Yeah.
to SMB and mid-market, that's for sure.
And the DocuSign, I think a lot of people pointed out that, like, there's a legal compliance issue there. Like, you're not going to go with some vibe coded thing when you're, like, signing
from China
$1 million contract,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, you want that legal compliance. You want to make sure, you want someone to have made sure that everything is checked out and everything is above board. So yeah, I agree with you there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens anyway.
Yeah, 100%. Sam, it has been awesome having you on the show. Thank you so much. If people want to track you down, get in touch with you, where can they find you? I think you did say you were just on LinkedIn, but share your LinkedIn.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoyed the chat. 3 main ways. One is, LinkedIn. I post daily ramblings on SEO and experiments we're running, all that kind of stuff. The second is the podcast called Breaking B2B. So, we interview marketing leaders, and I do solo episodes. We kind of share what's working today to drive pipeline from SaaS marketing, SEO, and various other channels. And then otherwise, if you've kind of tired of hearing me ramble on for the last 30 minutes and want to get me to shut up, then you can book a call over at breakingb2b.com, and we might be able to ramp up pipeline for your B2B service or SaaS company with SEO.
Awesome. Thank you, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
Appreciate it.